Hey guys, Christina here. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a couple weeks since I've been here. I know I've been taking a little break just because I'm pregnant and I'm tired, and sometimes I don't want to do things that I normally have on my to-do list. And it's been a good practice for me to slow down and to not feel like I have to do everything I normally do or I usually do. I've been just acknowledging the fact that my body is moving at a slower pace. My body's working overtime in terms of supporting the life inside, and I physically don't have the same access to those full resources I normally do because a lot of it's getting channeled into the baby. So yeah, I haven't done a vlog in the last 2 weeks, but I'm back and hopefully I can remain consistent because I don't like doing the 2 to 3 week updates, because weekly it's like I have the points specific to the week. This is just a very vague general update. I can't tell you which week things happened in, and hopefully this is the only time that I kind of let a little bit time go by between the updates. It's just been a good practice of realizing that it's easy to move fast in this world. Obviously our survival depends on money, and we have to work for money, and we have to go and do to make sure that we can survive. And so it's hard to slow down in this world system we've created. But pregnancy has given me kind of a glimpse into the slower pace, the slower movement, the more natural pace, the more natural movement, and not needing to feel like I have to rush or not needing to feel like I have to do it all on my own. Especially I can ask for help, I can ask for assistance, I can share the load of responsibilities that I have, with my partner. And so it's been kind of a cool point for me, and just getting an opportunity to step back and to slow down and to walk with my body, which is saying, let's take it easy, let's not move so fast. Let's do things a little more slowly. So I've been enjoying it, actually. Other than that, emotionally, mentally, I've been feeling fairly stable, fairly clear, no strong reactions coming up the last few weeks. Except for the last couple days ago, I did have kind of an interesting experience where one moment I was in tears, crying, just devastated about this and that, and just sobbing. And then the next moment I was thinking about how content and fulfilled and happy I was. So it was quite the stark difference, and just realizing the effects of hormones happening. And I think also I want to say that my emotions are purely my creation, and what I think about in my mind and how I relate to the world, generates my emotions and feelings. But my experience has been very different to how I normally am. So it's also easy to say this is probably a pregnancy thing, this is a hormonal thing. I'm a little bit more up and down than I normally am, but also not too much or feeling like I'm overly emotional or overly sensitive. I've just had a couple moments where it's okay, well, that was quite a difference and change in my experience. So, chalking it up to hormonal stuff. Yeah, but other than that, like I said, feeling fairly stable. Feel like I'm ahead of the game in terms of I've just been doing a lot of my own research. I've been getting a lot of gear ready, a lot of baby stuff. I've gotten a lot of the baby stuff we need, and I feel like I've done a lot of catching up on and learning about what to expect in the next 3 months, in the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, and a year. What to expect in my labor and delivery, and what to expect after having the baby, and what to expect with breastfeeding. I'm reading lots, and it's great because I feel like I have an idea of what to expect. It's not so unknown to me. It's not so, outside of my experience. I now have at least the knowledge base of how things go generally. So I'm feeling ready. I'm feeling like I'm looking forward to it. I'm not nervous. I'm not worried. I'm feeling good. We're just finishing up the 2nd trimester and coming into the 3rd trimester. So I'm grateful to be where we're at and how things are proceeding. So physically, I'm feeling actually better. So in my last vlog, I was sharing how I was having some hip pain, some lower back, upper buttocks kind of hip pain in my back, especially towards the end of the day, especially after a lot of activity or a lot of inactivity. Is that a word? Inactivity? So if I wasn't super active or if I was overly active, I was having this hip pain. And so I finally went to a chiropractor. After the first visit, I felt a little bit of a release in tension and tightness, and it definitely felt, well, it felt like there was a little bit of a release, but I definitely still felt really raw. It felt like the pain was still very present. It had shifted, so it wasn't so concentrated on to the right side. It was now kind of mixed both on the left and the right side. So I went back to my follow-up appointment kind of disappointed, kind of feeling like this isn't gonna work. So I told her what my experience was, and nothing really seemed to shift or change for me. And so she did, you know, some more alignment stuff or whatever. Since the last appointment this last week, I have felt way better. I actually forgot for a few days I was having the pain that I was having, or forgetting that I was in pain, because I wasn't in pain. It wasn't something I was noticing. And so definitely feeling a lot better, definitely feeling like it's on the mend, which is great because I want to be active in my pregnancy. You know, I want to stay active, I want to stay moving, I want to stay fluid. And so when moving causes the pain, obviously that's no fun. So I'm definitely grateful that the chiropractic work is working, and so now my next appointment is in for 2 weeks instead of 1 week, because I am feeling the relief that we were hoping for. So that's better. Cravings, nothing's still standing out too crazy. It's still the citrus, still the fruit, still the juice I'm craving. Still fish, I would say, is the most common craving other than the fruit and juices, but nothing else is really standing out in terms of cravings. I did have an experience the other day where I made myself a pasta lunch, where I made like a little, it was like Annie's mac and cheese, and I did some caramelized onions and spinach in there, and usually that type of portion would get me so full or I wouldn't be able to finish it. And I finished the portion and I was still hungry. And so that was a first, and that was kind of shocking. Like, this big portion actually didn't satiate me completely, and so I had to get something else to eat. I guess it's taking a little bit more food to really fill myself. Otherwise, what else? Yeah, I guess not too much to share. I'm currently reading The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding by the La Leche League, which is a group of women that was started back in the 50s who, after being, you know, pushed to formula feed, you know, really desired to go back to breastfeeding, and so they started this group. I think in the US, I don't know, but it's now everywhere, including they have a group here in where we live on the west coast of British Columbia and Canada. So I'm looking into participating in their weekly meetings, which is really cool. And this book has been awesome. It's like super hefty duty, and I'm about halfway through, but it's really great because it gives a lot of information about your last trimester of pregnancy, labor and delivery, and then it does like monthly after that in terms of breastfeeding. And I found that to be really cool because they talk a lot about how the pregnancy and your labor and delivery can affect the breastfeeding experience in terms of your milk supply and getting the baby to latch and that whole thing. And so it's been really good. I've been really enjoying this book. I have 2 other books on the way that I'm also looking forward to, and I'm kind of in anticipation of. One is I think it's Ina Gaskin, Guide to Childbirth. Curious to see her perspective on it. And also Go Diaper Free by Andrea, and I forget her last name, but it's a book all about elimination communication, which I'm really excited about. We're definitely going to go for it, which is basically potty training from the get-go, from birth, and learning how to communicate and read the signs and cues of the baby to indicate when they're going to use the bathroom, and then taking them to the bathroom. So I'm really excited to read that book. Yeah, otherwise that's it, I guess. I just had a midwife appointment, heard the heartbeat, things are going well with that. We do have an ultrasound coming up at 28 weeks. We would normally be done with ultrasounds now because we had our 20-week ultrasound, but because I had that high HCG level, which I've talked about in my previous vlogs, they do want to have another ultrasound to measure the size of the placenta, and I think the umbilical cord, and I think the uterine artery, just to make sure everything's on par and make sure the baby's on par in terms of size, make sure everything's growing properly. And now my midwife appointments are getting closer together, so instead of every 6 to 7 weeks, they're gonna be now every 4 weeks for the next couple weeks, or for the next couple months. I'll show you the baby bump now. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching and walking with. Definitely appreciate you guys being here.